more or less a finalized deal was.
But,
I'd like to call the St. John Board of Stormwater Management special meeting for September 27th at 6:01 p.m. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Let's stand for the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have roll call, please.
Joe Gomestego,
Here.
Bill Manasopoulos,
Present.
Bob Zanni,
Here.
Brian Blazak,
Present.
Joe Wizawati,
Here.
Bob Vlois.
Here.
All right, we are all here. All right, we have meeting minutes that were provided from Wednesday, September 7th. Has everybody had a chance to look at them? And any questions, motions for approval?
So you have any questions? No. I'd like to make a motion to pass the September 7th special meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. All in favor? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion passes. All right, we also have meeting minutes from Thursday, September 22nd meeting. What is the pleasure of the board for these? Any questions? Questions, motion?
I move to pass, but under one, I need to make a statement before we move forward. If
Sure.
you don't mind, sir?
No.
Okay, Chair. After this meeting on the 22nd, the following day, I received a call from Mr. Saini, not Mr. Saini, but Mr. Blazak. In the spirit of transparency, just to make sure that from now on, anything that happens here, especially under my watch, I like to make sure that there's a transparency and that there's no ethical issues. So if Mr. Basak, would you please tell me what was the purpose of the call that you made, that you were upset that some people in this room were making remarks? So that way we could get that out. And
There was only one thing.
Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Manasopoulos came over and knelt down by your chair, and you exchanged, don't know what, and then he came back and sat down, and that was the end of it.
And that was the discussion in here after we left, that there was.
No, that was before the meeting started.
But after we left, they mentioned that, somebody mentioned that to you in here. Is that true? That,
The chairman and the engineer said, what just happened? They asked me, and I had no clue.
the chairman,
Yes.
Could you mind if I jump in, Joe, for a second?
please, because we got to get this out and then we move forward, okay? From the spirit of transparency, because from here on, we are going to have transparency. I don't care, comes hell or high water, I'm not here, I didn't go to Vietnam to see Bob Hope for free or anything like that, so I just want to make sure that this board, which I dearly cherish, or any kind of board that I sit in, we go properly forward. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry.
And I'm just gonna jump in on this conversation. When I knelt down over there with the president of the board and the vice president of the board, my comment was, I'm gonna have some questions and I have some concerns. If anyone needed to know or was wondering at the time what was happening, felt free during the meeting or before the meeting or after the meeting to ask me. I think we all know the rules here, not to discuss business before or after we're about to vote on something. So, again, next time ask. And if you were wondering what I was saying, I think a better phone call would have been to me than to Joe. That's all.
Okay, and I think we're all here for transparency reasons as well. So moving forward, let's start on a clean slate. And I think you were going to possibly provide a motion after your comment?
Yes, I think I moved that the minutes for the 22nd to move forward and approve them.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second for the approval of the September 22nd meeting minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. Minutes approved. Okay, moving on the agenda to old business. We have consideration of the amended stormwater rate study report, rate options that were provided. And that date on those, the rate study is September 9th, 2022. Okay, any discussion on this?
Could someone explain, yeah,
Sure, that's.
could someone explain what happened with the original parcels that were given to the current parcels that are there, that's part of the amended, that's changing the rate and so forth?
May I approach? I'm Carl Sender with Sender Dalton Municipal Advisors. I know Trista's prepared the report, and she would have been here tonight, but she's had another conflict with another meeting, and so I'm filling in for her tonight. But I understand that when the county originally submitted the parcel report, it did not include all the townships. There are 3 townships, and so as a result, it's good news we have more parcels that will share the burden if a stormwater user fee is implemented. And so this amended report dated September 9th has the new parcel data in here along with slightly revised rates under 4 options.
At the original meeting that we had, I'm sorry, are you done?
Yes, I am.
At the original meeting that we have, that workshop meeting here, the question came up in here saying, what parcels do you want? Because I know the issue between township and the corporation, the town, and it was given to me that we just need the town.
Well, there are
that
3
didn't-
different townships that make up part of St. John, and it may have been that there was only the original town of St. John Township, and missed the Hanover Township, and I believe, is it Center Township?
So then, what we're looking at then is not all those parcels in those townships, and we're gonna be.
No, it's
looking at-
only those in the incorporated area of St. John.
Why would we put them in the total number of parcels, and why couldn't we deal with just the town of St. John? Because
No,
that's,
that's what it is, but St. John has 3 different, if you will, taxing districts because of the schools.
Right, right. The original data, I believe that was sent to Trista, only included the St. John Township portion of the town of St. John proper. It did not include Center Township, and it did not include Hanover Township.
That's incorporated into St. John.
Right. So
Okay.
I just wanted to
So-
clarify that.
so then you're saying that we are looking at the township, the town, St. John, Hanover, and Center Township. Is that
Only
correct?
those portions of those 3 townships that are within our corporate boundaries.
Wow, I wasn't quite, because when I did the research and I gave her the information, my understanding was, and I checked with the county, and the
Yeah.
county did give me this number, which I found that interesting. I go, I'm only looking for the St. John town. And
Right.
apparently, is there any rules and regulations that say that we're gonna be incorporating these to the rate?
I mean, from my understanding, what's being explained, there's 3 townships.
Yeah,
That
I
are
know
part
that, right.
of our town limits. So those parcels that are within those townships need to be included and
Yes.
Well, I know it lowers the rate, and that stands to, because the levy, the total number is above, and then it's a function, basically.
Yeah, and it's very possible that the county didn't realize that the town is split into 3 different townships that make up our total corporate boundaries. And they only gave you town
No,
of St. John.
it wasn't the county, sir. It was the town assessor, the St. John
Oh,
Town.
okay, okay.
Township assessor, and then when I went over to the county to check the numbers, they gave me 10th. I was like, oh, well, what's going on in here? How come there's a difference? And they couldn't quite explain it until, I could see the difference.
Yeah.
But, so that's what I'm trying to look at.
And so in order to be fair, you have to, if you're going to
Equitable.
have a fee, it has to be to everyone in the town, so. So I believe these are the correct numbers.
You believe? You're not sure then?
Well, it's based on what the county has given us.
Wow.
I'm pretty confident that they're the correct numbers.
And here's my issue, which I really appreciate your hard work and earnest trying to get these, because I know what it means to try to get a rate or a fee out of something like this. When we're looking at the town, and I don't really care whether they like me or not, in some cases, I'm just trying to make sure that they understand what's going to happen. Even if it's a penny increase, they're going to come out of the woodwork. Everybody is. And that's where we're trying to look at, so that way, when they come out of the woodwork, we have a program that gets pass it out there and explain it to them, and then they can understand the difference. Because I know there's a lot of people, not only in our town, but throughout the entire state and the nation, that don't understand the difference between the township, the town, and the incorporated area. So if we could kind of have something that your organization can give to perhaps the clerk or someone in here, because it'll help the town manager, so before they start storming, perfect, he's the first line of attack. I'm gonna say that. And Mr. Joe Wisawati, I know he's got big shoulders, he can handle it, but respectfully, but my issue here is that I just wanna make sure that everyone here is ready and prepped up, and that, here, read this, if you want to, we could have an education before we start moving. And it bothers me because we try to push this before this whole group got together. But it's not your issue. I think it's the issue between us here and the board here that was incorporated. But thank you very much, sir, for
You're
explaining that.
Anything further?
Nope, that's it.
Anything?
I think I just want to piggyback off Joe. In the past, and from sitting on the water board and everything else, any other kind of rate increase, we made sure that it was out there, from a flyer in the water bill asking people to come, to social media, to word of mouth. We sat with Alderman Pondinas, who's in the crowd, myself and the clerk. We went down to the basement at the Safety Building Police Department. Had quite a few residents that came in. Others were emailed in and read out loud and answered. And I think it was beneficial for them to know, because the water rates hadn't been raised in 14 years. So it was something that needed to be done to run the utility itself, and obviously make payroll and repairs and everything else that goes with that money. So I'm in agreement with Joe that we need to do a better job of getting this out to the community, having some real face-to-face with the residents, any questions or concerns that they may have. Obviously, the storm board could have been started years ago. I'm glad that we're in the process of doing it, but I also agree with Joe that the public needs to be part of this and informed before any type of fee, tax, whatever we're calling it, is put onto someone's tax bill, or what other options we have. I know that everyone's in a hurry because to get it in so it's on the next tax bill so we can get it, but there are neighboring towns that have it on their water bill. Not everything that we're gonna need here costs $1 million or $100,000. You know, whatever the rate that we choose, it can be collected at monthly, you know, and move along that way. I feel that'd be the best way to do it, because again, that gives us time to get that out there for anyone who has questions or concerns. I mean, unless we're getting an email, if you're not on social media, if you're not on a computer with some of our residents, I think it's unfair for them to open up a tax bill or hear word of mouth that this board added a fee to them without giving them the opportunity to either speak for or against it. And that's where I'm kind of at.
And I heard what both of you indicated. And just for clarification purposes, was there a public meeting that was that a week or two ago that indicated that this fee was being proposed? And
Yeah, I believe it was the 7th where they had the public hearing. However, I think, to both of these gentlemen's point, I think it would be beneficial for, if we're not ready to move forward on this and we think that there needs to be, additional outreach, I think that's a great idea. There's no reason to rush something or feel rushed. I think, tap the brakes and let's, make sure that, that we've got, first of all, the numbers are right. And then let's move forward with a number and let's put that information out to the public and let them understand that this is something that's coming. It doesn't need to be done tonight. It doesn't need to be done in this tax bill, to your point. I think if that's something that, that this board wants to do that way, then that's the way that we're going to do it. But we need to move forward on something. I think we all agree on that.
I agree.
Yeah. But I don't think it needs to happen tonight. I think if they're not comfortable with that, I agree with them. Let's wait, let's get it right, and let's do it right going forward.
Well, and I think I concur with that. I think the outreach and just to provide that information, I think, and I guess who's going to actually do that? Will that be through the town, through
We could have a
water bills,
loudspeaker
or
out there.
I mean, believe me, there's a lot of homework we've got to get done. There's projects that need to be scoped and figured out. So there's a lot that needs to get done with this. I mean, we're how many years behind the 8 ball on this? 20 some years behind the 8 ball? 22? Okay. 22 years behind. So if we get this project teed up and get the projects teed up and ready to go, and then we know how much the project costs are going to be, that'll obviously make it a lot easier to go to the residents and say, here's what we've got. This is what other communities are facing. This is what other communities have been going through for years. And we're playing catch up, and we're going to be catching up another year, it looks like. So, and that's fine if that's, where we want to go with this.
I think we all have to, on the board, have that comfort level of, making sure that the public is notified and understands what's forthcoming.
Right.
So,
Right.
And if we
And I don't
Go
mean to
ahead,
cut you,
sir.
but to his point, put it out in the water bills. Here's what we're, considering. It's going to hit every water user. That's, 8,100 people,
Yeah.
8,100 homes. I mean, that's not everybody because it's not hitting your business owners and stuff like that per se, but everyone that gets a water bill is going to get that.
and then along with that too, I guess I would imagine you'd put something on the website as well.
Yeah.
Just
So
information.
I think a more, maybe a longer campaign to get this thing done so the public is well advised, the board's well advised on the rates, and then a decision can be made. Maybe we don't do it today. Maybe it's not on the tax bills, come, springtime. But we definitely need to start moving forward on this.
Let me add this to the caveat here. The beauty of this is that we're having a big boom which is wonderful to grow, the development. But then the developers will start to recognize that we're not just moving up there. We have an issue here that they are also responsible for
Take part in.
partake. So, perhaps if we kind of get a work study so that we could brainstorm a way that's strategically start to lay it out for everyone, that would be nice for us, for the town council, for the mayor, no, the town manager, and everyone here, because I know that being a public servant is not an easy task. Now, I'm preaching right now, and I have to apologize, but you're not getting paid big-time bucks, and we're not getting paid big-time bucks, and then to get crucified for something that we're trying to do for the best interest of them, and if we don't explain it to them, that's when it comes. That's when our job in the town, and the town manager, and everyone that's here begins to suffer, because all of a sudden we begin to get apathetic, cynical, and indifferent, where mediocrity begins to fall in, and then we go the hell with it. So I would feel that a good approach is, let's start to get everybody, our groups here together so we can push forward, and perhaps, who knows, a miracle can happen. We could probably do something with the county, put it in there this time, because our town is well informed. That's what I love.
Okay.
If you don't mind me saying that.
So what is the next direction here? Does anybody want to
So I would
motion?
make a motion that in the next water bill, notice is put out. Go ahead.
Before you do that, what are we noticing
Noticing a pub,
specifically? I mean, because are we going to notice a dollar amount? Are we going to notice option A, B, C,
no,
D?
I think we notice a public forum where residents come in, give their thoughts. We explain it to them. In that meanwhile, in that month notice that we have, we can get together. We can be provided.
So I think to your point, I think
ahead.
maybe we put that into November. We have the meeting in October to discuss the options, how we plan to move forward.
That's exactly what I was going to go with.
Okay.
And how to have the meeting in here so that the people don't start talking about the earth is falling on one side, okay, those QAnon theorists out
Right.
there. So we could just keep them focused
And
on this
if
conversation.
obviously it's not likely we're going to hit that timeframe, and so be it. So
Okay.
maybe we discuss what's that look like. To your point, are we going to put it on the water bills? If we do that, there's 8,100 users and we've got 10,100 parcels. So how does that shake out? Or maybe we put a smaller amount in there.
Well, I mean,
know.
for myself, if 8,100 residents' homes got it, I'd feel a lot better than,
None.
That's a good
No,
representation.
Yeah.
I think that's a smart
and if we know
approach.
of places that maybe, business that doesn't receive a bill that's in a strip plaza, then we go the extra mile, and whatever we're putting in the water bill, print it out, make copies, and hand deliver it to them and be like, hey, this is going to affect you also.
Right.
One way, shape, or form. So do we need a motion to have something put into the water bill flyer?
I don't think you need a motion on it. I think timing-wise, obviously, that's going to go out toward the end of October for the November bill. So then we have a meeting sometime in November.
Okay.
I don't think you need a motion on it, as long as we all know that's the intent
And in the
that we want to move.
can we have a meeting here? We can have a meeting before that.
Oh, you'll have your October meeting.
We'll have the
so,
October meeting.
Yeah, then we
where,
could-
and I think we have a little bit better of idea also of
Right.
Yeah.
what projects we want,
Logistics.
what projects we need, and that'll help us also make a decision on
That's
a fee or a tax,
Prioritize.
whatever.
Yeah, I think it's a very good solution. And just so everyone's clear on that, so what I would probably do is we'd probably want to notice a public hearing for the November meeting. So that way there's a public hearing before the Stormwater Board, and that way you guys can have public, input on that.
We can invite the consultant here to come over here.
Oh,
and
absolutely, yeah.
have the presentation, and bring it to the level that they can understand it and the benefits that are behind it now and in the future. I think
happy to.
that would be great. Okay, and then you could.
So just for clarification, would, for the public notice, would that happen at the stormwater meeting, or would that happen at a council meeting?
No, the public hearing
Public hearing,
would
I'm
be
sorry.
held by the Stormwater Board because they're wanting to get solicit
Okay.
public comment on it, which I think is a great idea.
Just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't warrant a motion. I think we have a
I think
plan.
we have direction on the plan on how we're gonna move
So,
forward, yeah.
okay.
So we'll- just so we're clear, so we'll notice it for the November meeting for the public comment.
Right.
In the meanwhile, at the October meeting, we'll be able to get a couple more things in order and get some stuff going.
Yeah, you'll have your regular meeting, we can discuss how we're gonna approach the November meeting. We'll have the notices sent out in the October billing, which is due in November, so they'll get it at the beginning of November, so we'll make sure that the timing's right for that as well. But we'll also have to notice the public hearing legally, so that way it coincides with those dates.
Sounds good. Is there any other comments with regards to old business and 5A?
I don't think so, I think we covered
Okay.
that.
Moving on, any new business?
Yeah, and to go with Joe's opening statement, if there's anyone, whoever has a question about what was said, feel free to call me or ask right at that moment, Councilman. If you ever have a question or a concern, please feel free. I mean, we sit 3 feet away from each other.
Now, right here, so that way we could get it out. It doesn't hurt me, as long as it's a dialogue. But if we start having discussions, I imagine them to be a concussion. Discussions are pretty close to concussion. So if we have a dialogue about anything that we're talking about, that would be terrific. We could start to solve it. Different views, values, or whatever. Everyone has a variable to make this a success. Everybody has their heart to make this a success. So if anyone has across the board, anybody here.
You're good? Okay, that's good.
Any other new business? Seeing none, any reports and correspondences?
I have nothing.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, do we have a second? All in favor, say aye.